Okay, so what we have here today is another graded card case. This time, the Display Vault Mini Card Edition from Vaulted Vinyl. Shane over there left me a voicemail on Instagram saying that he saw my post on the regular Display Vault Card Edition, and then also that I had purchased a smaller case for my son, and he wanted to send this specifically for me to give to my son. That other small case was from the Easter Bunny, so he got that and he loves it. But I've had a couple people reach out, including Shane here, and send me some cases to look at, and that's what I'm gonna do here today with this one. And I mean, it's a great case without a doubt, and it's got one hell of a distinctive competency in that you've got this display panel here to put, you know, a couple of key cards if you so desire. And I like this feature. Now, it can be a little bit polarizing because people say, well, you're broadcasting to everybody what you have. Does it protect against UV light? And I don't think it does. But it's like, okay, a couple things for me is I'm not taking this case around to card shows and the like. So it's really just for personal use here. And so I don't really care about the fact that I have cards in the front panel on display. And as far as the UV light thing goes, I don't leave my cards out in any kind of light, let alone UV light or the sun for that matter. So, you know, maybe that's something that could be looked at down the road on a different rev for this particular product. But, you know, if you take care of your stuff, it shouldn't be a problem. But right off the bat, you can see it is about half the size of the regular Display Vault. And if I open it up here, I did notice one subtle difference. The capacity is reduced in each row by about one card. PSA, CSG, or Beckett. SGCs don't fit. So if you're an SGC collector, probably not the case for you. Again, there probably really isn't a case for you, but there's ways around it if you have a few SGC cards, and I kind of show it here. But with the other Display Vault Card Edition, you could fit 27 cards per row. And so that's what, 108, and there's 4 in the display panel, so for a total of 112. With this one, it's 26. 26 cards. So 26, and then 26 would be 52 if they're all PSA. And then the two here. So a total of 54 card maximum for this one for CSG, PSA, and I guess Beckett as well. Now, about the SGC thing. Here's what you can do. If you have a couple of cards from SGC, you can simply just do it like that, right? And then you sort of load it in perpendicular to the main row here. And so if you know, if you're a little bit OCD about it, and again, who isn't if you're a collector? You're probably OCD, everybody is. But it does the job well enough. I only have a couple of SGC cards, and so I don't mind doing this method of storage. One thing about this, though, if you do this, you do lose one additional card capacity. And I think I might have mentioned that in the last video. Maybe it wasn't clear. But what I mean is, if you can store 26 conventionally this way, if you have a couple SGC cards here that you got to make it rotate, then you lose one. So the max here now is 25 cards because the width of this SGC slab basically, you know, forces you to lose one width of a PSA slab this way. So if you got a handful of SGCs, this will work well enough. I only have a couple. I'm showing that here for an example of a workaround. You know, as far as improvements to the case, you know, I do like the separation aspect of the Pastime Marketplace, and I wonder, like, can it be done with this type of case? And I guess one of the biggest trade-offs is going to be storage capacity, because you probably can only get maybe a dozen cards per column if you were to have separations between the slabs. And for the price point, I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess the capacity price point ratio is diminished greatly, if that makes any sense. And as far as price points go, the primary Display Vault is reasonably priced at about $139, I think. I think it's $139, which seems to be the norm for larger capacity cases. And then this one, when it launched, I noticed it was not much cheaper. I want to say it was like $119 or $109. It was maybe $20, $30 cheaper. And I thought, well, that's kind of pricey for a case being, you know, just half the capacity or a little less than the regular version. But I see he since lowered the price to under $100. So I believe now this case is a $99 case, which is, I think, much more palatable for what you get. Here's the locking mechanism, and it comes with a, what do you call this thing? A lanyard. Is that the technical term for this thing? And on it is your key set, and you could lock this thing up to keep people, I guess, people in your house from getting into the cards. But if someone really wants to get into these cases, they could just rip this thing open with a pry bar or a tool or something like that. But anyway, so this is the Display Vault Mini Card Edition. And I told my son, I said, look, I said, he wanted the other one that came the other day, and then he saw this, and he put his cards in here. I said, what we got to do is, you just got one from the Easter Bunny. Now, if you don't want to use that one, he's going to be pissed off, and when you ask for stuff next year, he's probably not going to give it to you. So I said, what you got to do is, you got to use the little one for a while, and maybe fill that one out, and then when you have enough cards to justify moving into a different case, I said you could pick, from one of these two that were sent to me, really, for him. I don't want to tell him they were sent to him because then he's going to want them, and he's not going to want the one that he got as a present. So, but anyway, again, thank you, Shane, for doing this. Very generous, and I do think it's a great product, and I love the display aspect of this. Again, pretty disruptive, in the marketplace to come out with something, because there's a lot of cases out there, and there's not a whole lot to differentiate one from the other in many cases. There's some bigger companies out there doing like team logos, or you could do different colors and things. There's not much you can do, but this is the first of its kind, and so I think it's a great product. I'll link Vaulted Vinyl down below, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.